like to share a fascinating insight regarding the lesson, or one of the lessons from the Megillah. The Talmud asks this very interesting question. Esther min haTorah minayin. Where is there any reference of Esther in the Torah? And the Talmud mysteriously answers from a verse at the end of Devarim, of Deuteronomy, when God tells the Jewish people that in the end of days they will be consumed with many different sorrows and difficulties, and they will suffer greatly. And God's response, it says in the Torah, will be, "Va'anochi haster aster panai bayom hahu," and I will conceal my face on that day. That seems to be a rather cold and harsh response from God to the Jewish people. But beyond that, how is that in any way, shape, or form connected to our hero from the Megillah, Queen Esther? You know, the book of Esther, the Megillah, is very unique. It is the only one of the Sifrei Tanakh, of the books of Scripture, that do not have God's name in that. And the question is, why so? The two authors, Mordechai and Esther, were they trying to market this book to the non-religious public? They wanted to get some agnostic people to buy the book. And is that why they did not mention God's name in the book? No, that's not why. If you take a look at the book of Esther, it seems to be a very thrilling story, a very thrilling page-turner. It starts off with this king that's drunk and a womanizer that demands his wife parade herself in front of all of his cronies, and she refuses, has her killed, develops another beauty pageant, chooses a new wife, and then he has a prime minister that's rabidly anti-Semitic that hatches this scheme to kill all the Jews, and then in the 11th hour the queen turns out to be Jewish and saves her people. Sounds like a great story. Who's going to get the movie rights for this? It's not just a story, though. God's name is not mentioned in this to tell us something very profound. It's to tell us that there is this new world order that developed once the era of prophecy ended. It's this new world order where we're not going to see the splitting of the sea, the death of the firstborn, or a fire coming down from heaven. But just because we won't see God's open hand in the world anymore does not mean that He is no longer there. When there's a great touchdown on the football field, we don't necessarily see the offensive coordinator that called that play. But it's the offensive coordinator that taught his players how to go about that play and orchestrate it from the sidelines. And so too God says to the Jewish people, when you will have those difficulties, I will conceal my face on that day. God does not say, I will run away. God does not say, I will abandon you. He just says, I'm now on the sidelines. And that's what happened with the story of Esther as well. We did not see God in a miraculous way like we saw Him when we left Egypt, but He was on the sidelines orchestrating all those events in order to save the Jewish people. And that's why His name is deliberately not mentioned. Folks, I think the lesson is loud and clear for us. We may have difficulties and challenges, and sometimes we wonder, where is God and how can He help me? Let us remember that lesson of Esther. God is always there on the sidelines, and He wants us to succeed. Have a wonderful Purim.